I mean, we're out here. We're at the Scout Tailgate. We got all kinds of TVs back there. We got these Danish things. What are those things called? Kolaches. Unbelievable. They got cream cheese. They've got jelly. They're better than your normal Danish because it's the whole thing is filling. You know what I mean? It's not just that little circle you get when you get a typical Danish. I've had a couple. I've had a couple of cervezas. You're in Texas. You don't drink beer. You drink cervezas.
That's it. Got to.
I can't be happier to be here. Look, if you don't know who we are, if you're watching on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, we're the Group of Five guys, and our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs, the voice that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to do. That's what we're here doing today, is fighting that fight. We need you to help us fight that fight. Follow us on the socials at Group of Five guys. Subscribe to the YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify channel, wherever you get your best podcast. Give us a 5-star rating, leave a review. Most important thing you can do, tell your family and friends all about us. Now today, Jeff, we're over here hanging out with the Maroon and Golden Tailgate. If you're a Texas State fan or if you're a UTSA fan, come on by. Look, you want your program to be good. It's a new age. I don't care if you don't like it or not, you have to support the NIL Collective. You want to get good players, you want to keep good players, you got to support the NIL. I'll tell you how you can do that. Come over here. These guys got merch over here. They got t-shirts, they got hats. A lot of stuff for sale. And also, man, just good fellowship, good hanging out, get some food, get some drinks, watch some games. Get ready for a damn good football game today.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the premier Group of Five matchup this weekend. Texas State versus their rivals in San Antonio. And it doesn't get, much better than this. Beautiful weather. I think we're at about 80 degrees today. Normally, it's supposed to be 105 degrees or whatever it is here in Texas. But, I mean, got the tailgate jumping. We got some music popping off over here. The catwalk's going to walk right in front of us here in a little bit. So it's been a hell of a weekend, and it started yesterday when we got in. We had a great time on the river.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that too, but we started out, linking up with the athletic director, Don, linking up with the president, Kelly Damphus. We've talked about it last night, Jeff. We've been talking about it for 3 years. When you have a president and you have a head coach and you have an athletic director that all have the same vision, and then they lead the collective, the fans, the students, all on the same page, that's the recipe for winning, and that's the recipe to build a good program. And that's what they are trying to do here at Texas State. Now, here's the question. What's the thing they have not done yet? That's beat the damn Roadrunners.
You got to beat them.
And they got to do it today if they want to take the next step.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head, and appreciate President Damphus allowing us to come in and
100%.
Just having a conversation with him, and we recorded a little bit of it, and we'll release that next week. But it's the guy is spot on, man. He gets it on every level.
100%.
Being the president of your university, investing in your athletic programs, allowing that to be the front porch of your university, that's going to drive eyeballs. It drives enrollment. It drives students coming here and wanting to be a part of a great atmosphere. And they got one of the best we've had,
100%.
that we've had the opportunity to talk to. And him and the AD are in lockstep and barrel. Kinne's in that group as well. And they made a great hire in him last year. But it starts here today. It starts here. They got to get over this hump. And if they can do that, and we know how tough the Sun Belt Conference is, but it sets them up nice on a run that could propel them to that college football playoff spot.
It sets the tone, and one thing we talked about a lot yesterday and in this offseason is with this 12-team playoff, you've never before, from a national standpoint, had to pay attention to a Week 2 non-conference American versus Sun Belt football game. But you have to, because the winner of this game, now there's a lot of other great games going on today, we've talked about yesterday, but you win this game, you take a step forward, you enter your name, you insert your name into the conversation, and they're going to be forced to talk about you. They're going to have no choice, because as much as they don't want to do it, as much as they don't want to admit it, somebody's going to be in that damn spot, whether it's the 12 spot or don't get me started on a potential 4 spot, Jeff. If some things shake out today.
I thought the Group of 5 was relegated. They had to be in the 12.
No, that's just what all the Colin Cowherds of the world think. They say it's 1 through 11, and then they put G5 like it's a separate freaking category. Isn't it unbelievable?
No,
but it doesn't have to be the 12. It might be the 12. It might be the 4. It might be the 5. It might be the 6. Wherever they are.
Exactly.
And I got news for you. We'll check the score here in a little bit. But if Tulane takes down Kansas State today, guess who's gonna take a step back out of the top 4? That's the Big 12.
100%. And the Big 12, in my opinion, is the weakest of the Power 4 conferences. And we talked about it last night. I hope John Sumrall and the Green Wave get it done. because then that just is another notch down that the group of 5 doesn't have to worry about, that might propel them into a higher seed.
Yeah, 100%. Well, let's talk about it a little bit. We took a really good facilities tour yesterday at Texas State. Lot of building, a lot of construction, which you love to see. You love to see the contractors. I mean, my God, I wish I was that smart, because I'm looking at steel and wood and beams and tools all over the place, and I'm like, I'm not seeing where this is going to be a weight room, but it's going to be a weight room, and that's the arms race, right? This facilities arms race, and a lot of the group of 5 teams have been behind for a long time. Again, we talked to the president and the AD and the coaches. They get it. They've realized where maybe in the past they weren't up to par with everybody else, and they realize where they've got to get to, and they're doing it. I mean, my favorite thing about it, Jeff, is across all the athletic program, they've got like 4 different weight rooms for these guys, like 3-4 different training rooms for every sport. And we know from experience what a pain it is when you have one facility for your entire athletic program. Number one, it's not fair to the other sports, right? Because look, we know football's going to get priority. They just are. It's the most amount of people, the most amount of eyes,
makes the most amount of money.
But it's not fair to the other sports to do that.
Correct.
And it's not fair to the football team. You can't even get the whole team in a lot of these weight rooms to go through a lift. But what they're building now with the bay doors that are going to open up to the stadium,
right on the field,
you work them out, you run the stadiums, you condition them, you do your walkthroughs, all in the same place. And that's key. I mean, that's what you've got to, that's what everybody's doing, and that's what you've got to do.
Exactly. And in this day and age of college football and college athletics in general, and NIL, transfer portal, you've got to have top-notch facilities in order to attract the top talent, to keep the good talent that you were able to recruit as a freshman. And if you fall behind, now you're in a perpetual state of catch-up. So I think, this organization, this administration, are doing a good job of staying on the forefront of growth and building. And when they get done, I mean, these facilities are going to be incredible, and they're only going to be able to use that to entice more athletes to come, stay, and continue to build this program to where I think it could be one of the top in the group of 5.
And Jeff, I'll tell you another way to entice athletes to stay, my friend, and that's put a property on your facility where you have the students out there laying out tanning. You jump in the river on a Friday. You don't class.
I don't know how you get any work done as a student. I mean, the river runs right through campus. You can float all the way down it. You can get in and just hang out. It gets hot down here in Texas, and you just got all your students out there reading or suntanning, or there's a basketball court out there, so they're balling. So
guys out there,
I tell you what, it'd be tough for me to go to school here and pass any of my classes.
I
barely did that.
Well, it's tough too. In a liberal arts degree, isn't that what you got?
Hold on. The JUCO transfer, I had to go
junior
to liberal
college,
arts. But I got my business degree too.
No, and I'm just kidding about that, Jeff. You're a very smart man. But it's such a great hangout. I mean, for us, we were talking in the summertime, and you go to the pool on a Friday. You'd have to figure out which apartment complex you're going to go to the pool, who you're going to hang out with here. There's a park, man, and you got everything. To me, it makes people want to hang out on campus.
It does.
Which is also the key to getting people to buy in to what your football program's doing. And there's so many levels to it, and that's why I appreciate so much the conversation we had with Mr. Damphus, because he gets all that, right? And he's so active in the socials. I mean, you go on there and he's tweeting about the different schools they've got here. He's tweeting about football, basketball, softball, volleyball. He's just so involved in everything, and it all meshes together to where you can have not only a great football team and a great athletic program, a great school, and a great community. Right, and you do all that. You have a great school. You get graduates to stay in San Marcos, open businesses in San Marcos. Those people come back. Those people are who's hanging out at this tailgate right now, donating, coming to the games, bringing friends to the games.
Yeah, and there's no wonder why you see the tailgate. It's filling up. It's getting packed. Campus was crowded yesterday. You got great places to eat. We ate at Kirby Lane yesterday.
Kirby Lane, really good spot.
It's right on the water. It's right where the spring starts to feed the San Marcos River. If you get a chance, if you're in the Sun Belt and you're a fan of another school and they're playing Texas State, come down here, come check it out. It's a great time. There's great places to eat.
Ain't no doubt.
And you're gonna have a great time. And then you hit the square. You go squaring after the game.
Go squaring.
I mean,
Jeff, tell us about the square. You did it a couple of years ago. You did the whole, what do they call it? The Triple Crown?
Well, shout out to Kyle.
Is that right? The Triple Crown.
Shout out to Kyle Hergel. A couple of years ago, we came out here and we went to every bar on the square.
You did, not me.
And he's like, there's a specialty drink at every bar. You gotta have one. And sure enough, a couple hours later, don't remember much, but great time.
I mean, my God, I got on the phone with you as I'm boarding the plane. You sounded great, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. I get here 2 hours later, and you're not bright-eyed and bushy-tailed,
we ended at the vault.
Eyes were glazed
down at the vault. It's a great place.
Good spot. That's where I met you.
And who knows? After the game today, after a big win for one of these teams, we might have to go to the square.
I'd jump in the river post-game.
Don't put that on us.
Well, let's talk about the game, Jeff.
Let's get into
I-35, about 55 miles between right here where I'm sitting and UTSA's campus. A little different distance between UTSA Stadium. I know they'll, God forbid you don't play on campus. But I tell you, it's hot down there. Sometimes you might appreciate a dome. I don't care what anybody says, Jeff. We've been there. We went there for the Conference USA Championship a few years ago. Fantastic environment. Awesome. Great tailgate. It's like we've talked about before with a couple of these schools. Whenever you're off campus and you have a stadium like that, it's a pro-style tailgate, right? It's more of that NFL. You're big concrete parking lot, whatever, a bunch of tents, cars, everything like that. It's not so much your college town tailgate where you have a grove or a park or something like that tailgating. Yep. But they had a damn good time.
No, I mean, playing in that Alamo Dome, it's a different animal. I don't remember what it holds, but it sounds like it's double the amount of people that are there. But they're on the road today, not too far down the road, and we got a sellout crowd. We got a sellout crowd
here in San Marvelous, my friend.
And let me tell you, I can't wait to. You can start to already. It's starting to build. You're feeling the buzz here in the parking lot. That stadium is going to be cranked up tonight, and the White Claw truck just pulled up.
It did.
So
you big White Claw guy?
No, I'm not a White Claw guy, actually.
Well, hey,
now I'll be a White Claw guy if they want to come over and throw us a couple.
Hey, look, we're looking for a podcast sponsor. Yeah, ain't no doubt about that. Well, one thing we talked about yesterday and this morning is you could feel yesterday. There's that buzz, there's that aura in town right now, and you could see it. You're 24, 36 hours before the game. Tents are getting set up, barricades are getting put out, people are moving around, everybody's around campus. You go to the Walmart, people are getting their ice, getting their beer, getting their food, all that stuff. And there's a big time football game in this town. And Kelly Demphus said it himself. He thinks it's the biggest home game in Texas State history.
I think it is, bar none, just because there's so much on the line for both of these teams. Both started out, they're 1-0, had tough matchups last week,
Well, you couldn't see a lot.
Kennesaw State showed that they can play ball at this level.
They did.
And I think both of them, though, San Antonio and Texas State, they were playing a little chess. They were keeping things tight, didn't want to show too much, knowing that it was a big matchup today. And today it all opens up. Playbooks open up, defenses open up. But it starts, I think, Sprouse, I really think this game's going to come down to the defensive front seven for San Antonio and that offensive line for Texas State.
Well, and you look at last year, you look at the rushing yard comparison. UTSA, Kavorian Barnes, 25-plus carries, 125-plus yards. Ishmael Mahdi, 6 carries, not a lot of yards, 31-something yards last year. So you tell me, if you do a blind test, right, and you give me one-star running back runs the ball 6 times for 30 yards, the other one runs the ball 25 times for 130 yards, who's winning that game?
I mean, you're going to go with the guy who's got 130-something, some odd yards.
Well, Jeff, and here's the thing, right, is UTSA leads this series now 5-0, 5-0. 4 of those 5, Texas State had that game won. And they couldn't get it done, and that's one thing we talk about with a lot of teams is you got to learn to just win, to just finish. And that's where sometimes those games like last week, you play a Lamar, and you don't play great, but you find a way to get a win. Right? And sometimes that's part of it, especially when you've got a coach that brings over a bunch of transfers. And that's what we talked about with Don and Kelly yesterday is, they're coming over from Incarnate Word, an FCS program. But guess what they know how to do? Win.
One
of these teams, they make the jump from FCS to FBS, and everybody's shocked when James Madison just keeps rolling. Everybody's shocked when App State just keeps rolling. Georgia Southern keeps rolling. But they win. And they expect to win no matter what. And that's where you look at, an App State going to Clemson today, and nobody would even blink if App State goes in there and beats another giant, which it seems like they do every year. Yeah. And that seems to be the Sun Belt MO.
Well, you're talking about building a culture, right? And Traylor has done that at UTSA. Say what you want, whether you're a Texas State fan or not. Traylor has done a phenomenal job at revitalizing that program. He has an expectation. When you walk into that building, and I got the chance to tour it a couple years ago.
Yeah.
When you walk in that building, they expect excellence. That's what they do, and he's brought that to the table, and he's been able to bring in some phenomenal running back talent. You talk about Sincere McCormick a couple years ago. You got Kavorian Barnes in a stable, not just one deep. They're 3-4 deep in that running back room.
Yes, they are.
And what they like to do is keep fresh legs on the field. Usually by third and fourth quarter, your star running back, he might be a little dinged up throughout the game. He might be a little tired. Not those guys. They're going to be cycling them in, keeping those legs fresh, pounding on that defense until they get a little bit tired. And then that's when they lull you to sleep in play action. And Owen McCown.
Boy, he looked good in week 1, didn't he?
He did. He's a lot more athletic than I thought he was going to be.
Yep.
He's got the pedigree, but he's a little inexperienced. That's what he's got to prove in a big game today.
Well, you know what's funny? When we talk about Texas State, you talk about UTSA, you could bring in a UTEP now, bring in a North Texas now. A rise in these Texas Group of 5 schools. And it seems like they're all kind of looking for the same recipe. And Traylor was the first one.
Yep.
Let's hire a Texas guy. Let's hire a Texas high school guy. We know how big high school football is in this state, right? Let's hire a guy that knows the high school game, knows all those coaches, is respected by all those coaches, and can go recruit and then keep those guys. And we've been saying it for a long time. You got to give Jeff Traylor credit because he has had every opportunity to leave San Antonio. And GJ Kinne will probably get that opportunity if they continue on this trend. And Morris at North Texas will probably get that opportunity. But Traylor has been vocal about what they're missing, and he has still stayed to try and build that thing. But that's been the recipe, and I'm excited to see. It looks like North Texas is going to take a big step this year, and I think UTEP's going to do the same in this year or maybe next under Scotty Walden. But that's been a theme, I think, these Texas Group of 5 schools.
It is, and Texas is such a hotbed for recruiting. And shout out these two right here holding down
the tents. It is windy.
I mean, literally holding down the tent. And but no, I think that's the recipe, right? Because you get these guys that are from Texas, played high school Texas football, coached here, and they just know the areas. They have the line, the ends on the recruiting. And Texas is the #1 high school recruiting place in the country for football, high school football.
Number 2, right behind Broward County in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you know, if you can keep that talent here in Texas, and that's Kenny's motto, take back Texas, right?
That's
and
right.
He's done a great job, and he's in year 2. A lot of expectations. We heard that from the president yesterday, but he seems like a guy that can get it done and knows, especially on offense, knows how to score points. And they're going to have to do that against a very good, very good UTSA defense.
Especially that front. And we talked about it earlier. The way that you can help GJ Kinne do that, yes, he'll go get the guys. And we talked about it on the float, right? You get a guy to come to San Marcos and tour it and visit it and go out on the town and go out on the river. I mean, my God, why would you go anywhere else?
It'd be hard to not sign here.
But you know what would get him somewhere else? A $100,000 check or a $50,000 check. So how do you keep them from going there? You got to support the NIL.
Yeah.
You just have to do it. Whether you like it or not. I have my thoughts, right? But look, you went through 4 quarterbacks in one offseason here, all potential starting quarterbacks. Somehow you ended up with the best one of the bunch and getting Jordan McCloud to come here.
Not just the best one of the bunch, Sprouse. The reigning, defending Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year.
Was that a Paul Heyman reference?
It was a Paul Heyman reference.
Big Paul Heyman guy.
The fact that you lose your guys and get a kid like McCloud, he's got a ton of experience. He showed what he can do last year. And I think in this offense, he can really, really open it up and be effective, not only in the pass game, but the run game.
Well, see, and I think that's where he can help, right? Something, Finley is a good player, but I think McCloud's a little more athletic. And so when you have that front 7 of UTSA and these broken plays, you talk about it all the time, off-schedule plays, McCloud can break a game open with plays that aren't even good plays.
Yeah.
And end up either keeping you in it or pulling away in a game. I wanted to ask you, though, so everybody here in San Marvelous would probably tell you that the Sun Belt is the best Group of 5 conference. If you ask the national media, I think they would still probably tell you it's the American. I want to hear your thoughts on that. And do you think this game could change the opinion either way?
I don't know if this one game can change the opinion because the hacks in the mainstream media not
even going to watch it.
Yeah, they're probably not going to cover it. I'll say this: I think the talent at the top of the American is really, really good. Memphis stacked this year. Tulane on the rise, great coach, a lot of talent they've been able to bring in. You see what North Texas is doing. They look very good. UTSA is very good. But then after that, I think you get a little bit of drop-off. Where in the Sun Belt, week in and week out, it is a dogfight gauntlet. In our preview, we weren't very high on ODU. They damn near beat South Carolina last week. But that's just the quality of football and the physicality of football that's in the Sun Belt. You cannot take any team lightly in this league because they will come up and they will beat you. It doesn't matter who you are. And I know Texas State saw that last year in Arkansas State. You got to be ready week in and week out. It's a gauntlet. So I think for the diehard college football fan who loves this football will be like, okay, the Sun Belt is now stepping up, but I don't think it's going to change the minds of the mainstream media.
Yeah, I agree. And unfortunately, you guys make fun of me all the time when I talk about my favorite book, Brands Win Championships. Okay? But they do.
It's true.
And you've got to have a brand. And that's why if you're Texas State or anybody, that's why you've got to do it a couple years in a row.
Yeah.
And that's why immediately before you watch any game, before you hear anything, who are the favorites in the group of 5? Everybody that's been doing it for 20 years. Boise State, App State, Memphis, right?
Yep.
So if you're Texas State, you've got to do it not just this year, right? They got the preseason hype, but then you got to then you got to actually win and win the games. But then you got to do it again next year. Look at Cincinnati. They went undefeated like 2 years in a row before they even sniffed the top 10. You look at what UCF had to do. They had to go to 3 in a row New Year's games before they got the actual respect.
Yep.
And so that's what you've got to do right now. And again, it starts with this game. I think you're spot on. I think the Sun Belt sort of has that national, almost little brother mindset, and it's definitely unfair. But I think you're right. I think if you took the top 3 or 4 of the American and the top 3 or 4 in the Sun Belt, I would lean towards the American. But if you went down to the middle of the pack, you go to the very bottom of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. You give me Old Dominion against Charlotte and give me Old Dominion all day long.
Twice on
Saturday.
Long.
So, I think, but I do think it could sway some opinions, and then also depending on what else happens today, right?
Yeah.
With App State going to Clemson, with Tulane playing Kansas State right now, if one of them, wins or plays them tight, and one of them gets blown out, you're going to see that. I mean, you already saw game day this way. I mean, I can't, Jeff. I try hard to keep a low blood pressure and to not get angry, to not get animated. But I flip on ESPN at 7:30 this morning at the hotel. And Kirk Herbstreit is on there talking about how the SEC and the Big Ten are 30-4 as a unit. And then I was like, wow, that's pretty good. And then I went and scrolled through. It's a bunch of FCS wins.
Yeah, I'm not sure the point he was trying to make there.
They're trying to push the narrative is the point they're trying to make. Because we've been saying this for a long time. I got news for you, ACC, Big 12, Pac-12. They don't want you either.
They don't.
They don't want you in that conversation either. And they love the fact that Clemson got smacked by Georgia last week because they're saying, oh, look at this. SEC better than the ACC. Here we go.
Yeah, it just backs up the narrative that they want to push on everybody. And you're right. I mean, when Colin Cowherd yesterday was talking about Boise State and Liberty, and then he throws Houston in there, can't compete. It's like, well, Houston's
not in the group of 5 anymore, pal. They don't even know, Jeff.
Honestly, 90% of the ACC and the Big 12, if you think that you're going to get in to finally decide to do the split, you better think twice, bud. You might be getting talked about on our show.
Hey, we'll welcome you.
That.
We'll welcome. Hey, Wake
Forest against Kennesaw State, and I think Kennesaw State's offense is actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
I just think that front 7 swarms to the football. I mean, they are all hats accounted for, flying to the football. Those linebackers, Ligon and those boys, they get after the running back. They shoot gaps when they see them. So this offensive line is going to have to control the line of scrimmage for Texas State and be able to get up to that second level. If this offensive line can't do that, it's going to be difficult for Mahdi.
Yes, Jeff. At nose number 2, Brandon Brown, 6'2", 320. And we talk about how 0, 1, and 2 at UTSA is special.
I'm telling
you.
So
that's your number 2. Your number 1 is Joe Evans, 6'3", 335. A senior. He's going to be lined up, head up probably with your tackle. More of a 3-tech, 4-eye technique. And then your number 0 is your middle linebacker, 6'2", 235. They're big now.
They're big. They're big and physical at the point of attack. And that's why I just think, watch that matchup.
Well,
Texas,
they touch this nose,
I'm gonna
right?
go.
And then the center's getting beat over the, across their face, and their running back's got to cut back too early, and then everybody else is
Spills
flowing
back
to the
into
ball,
the backside.
and you have nothing to do. So you have to get leverage on that nose. You have to turn him a little bit, allow the center to overtake and get their helmet across. Then you go, and then you get to the linebacker, and now you got a guy like Mahdi. Then you got a linebacker, and you have a 300-pound offensive guard in front of him. And that's where the guard doesn't even have to touch the guy because Mahdi's so good, he'll just pick a side and make the defender choose a side.
Exactly.
Now you're one-on-one with a safety. Now your big play is wide open. Now
They got the weapons on the outside with Joey Hobart, because that kid is special. He made a couple phenomenal plays last week. I mean, it looked like time stopped on the sideline when he caught that ball, and then he just dove into the end zone. So he's a special player too. There's talent all over the entire field. It's just, can you block up front?
Yeah, well, let's get Justin in here. Let's get Justin in here to talk about this NIL, right? And then we're gonna make him make a pick. We'll have you for a couple of minutes. Have a seat, my friend. Just you can hold it right up.
Talk amongst each other. And so we started Maroon and Golden, the website and the forum, several years ago. And with the new world of NIL, which, obviously everyone's still trying to figure it out.
Yep.
With the new world of NIL, it's become very apparent that if you're not committed to NIL, you're not going to have success.
You get left in the dust.
You're going to be losing players left and right. It's going to be a struggle to recruit players, and you're not going to be able to compete with the big guys,
Yep.
And we're already, y'all have a whole podcast dedicated.
Buy some shirts and hats. You cannot complain about a loss or a coach or players if you are not helping get the job done. You can't do it. And I'm not saying you have to. Listen, hey, economy, right? I'm not saying you got to donate, but if you're not donating, you can't complain. You come to the game and you support the guys that you can get, because if you don't have it, you don't have it. And that's, you guys, I appreciate what y'all are doing. Those are big time shirts now, by the way. The Take Back Texas,
Yes.
GJ Kinne shirts.
So we worked with GJ Kinne's camp to these shirts. They're $35 a piece. If you get 2 or more, it's $30. Here's the maroon version.
I can't see that.
Just put it.
And
There it is.
100% of the proceeds.
This is a big time shirt now.
100% of the proceeds goes towards our NIL.
And
So
GJ Kinne, you get a great job on that shirt. We saw him yesterday. He was fresh out of getting a haircut. I mean, that guy's got a fade and a beard lineup that I am extremely jealous of. I mean, I don't know where he went, but next time we come, I'm going to spend an extra day and just go get it.
Love it.
we got one of these over here if y'all want to do a taste test.
Look at this.
It's stuffed
is
crust.
Dave Portnoy around?
Oh, I know,
can
one
do
bite, everybody knows the rules.
I can do it. Look at that. I was a big fan of Gumby growing up. Gumby, very underrated cartoon, I would say. Oh, look at that little sausage and pep. Are you going to do a bite? Are you going to do a live taste test?
Look at that.
Gumby's Pizza. God, let me tell you, I'll give you a perfect scenario. Let me paint a picture for you real fast. You floated the river. You went over to the Ivars River. Little stuffed crust, too.
I love the stuffed crust.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
As we're munching on this pizza, give me a player, big-time performance, and then give me a score prediction for this game today.
All right. So I'm actually going to go with Cole Wilson.
Just leave that here.
I think Cole Wilson is going to have a breakout game. I think he's going to put up some points. I think he's going to score some touchdowns. I think he's going to have some great runs, some returns. I think he's going to have a breakout game. He's one of our favorites. Little known secret, he's actually our neighbor down in there.
Good pick.
And obviously that's low scoring for what GJ Kinne's trying to do.
And we're at about a pick'em on the line right now, right? It's been moving a little bit. We're at about a 1 point spread on this thing.
The over under has actually been dropping. I think it started at 63. It opened at 63. It's actually down to, I think, 50. And things are changing. GJ Kinne is changing it. And
we love it.
Our culture is changing. We have a lot of history here at Texas State. And obviously we've had some name changes, but it's still the Bobcats. And a lot of things have changed, but a lot of things stay the same. And with that, all the history that we've enjoyed, we got national champions, D2 national champions here, back-to-back in 81 and 82. So we have some history in our football program where we've had success. We're just...
Jeff?
All right.
We got his pick. Give me a pick, my friend.
Give you a pick. All right. This is what I got. Okay. San
Let's hear it.
Antonio say what you want about them, but Traylor's built a premier program with the Roadrunners. I think they're going to come out and try and enforce their will on offense and run it right down Texas State's throat. And then they're going to try and go play action with Owen McCown. Flip the switch, okay? G.J. Kinne's going to come out. They haven't beat their rivals in the Roadrunners.
No, they have not.
I think Ben Bell has a phenomenal game today.
Ben Bell.
I think he comes out like a man possessed on the outside. He's going to have a couple sacks. He's going to in big key moments, and I think he lifts the Bobcats. Him and that offense. Eat them up, Cats. Bobcats win it.
That's a good pick.
27-24.
Jeff, I want you to look at my notes so you know I'm not lying about what I'm about to say. I prepared for this show several days ago. Okay, I was ready to go. Then I flew into Austin. Austin, by the way, what a hellhole. I mean, when you come to a game, you can go to San Antonio or Austin. It's pretty much right in the middle here, San Marcos. San Antonio, nice place, really good churros down there in San Antonio. Austin, like way too much of that. I mean, it looks like, have you ever had like your roof, have you ever had your AC emergency drip pan drip on your roof and it rusts the roof?
Yeah.
I mean, what a stupid color. That orange, that rusty orange.
Gross.
But I come in here to San Marcos, going home team, and that pissed me off. And I'm not paying it, by the way. Texas State parking. I'm not paying it. Anyway, I'm really looking for a great game.
No, it's going to be a great game and a great atmosphere, and there's no place we'd rather be, man, on a Saturday here in San Marcos, Texas.
No place we'd rather be. Well, we're going to go get some more Gumby's pizza, probably have a couple of cervezas. If you're listening, if you're watching, come over here, hang out with us for a minute. We're going to try to make our rounds around this tailgate, say hello to some people. Basketball arena when you first get to this town. We're out of here.